Right, welcome everybody to the Connection Hangout. Tonight is the Corporate Connection, and we have a very special guest with us this evening. I'm excited to bring on. Before we get started, though, let me introduce my co-host out there in Marietta, Georgia, David Asarno. David, how you doing?
I am doing awesome, Paul. If I was doing any better, you'd be peeling me off the ceiling.
Hey, how's hot Atlanta, man? What's your weather like?
It's been hot. I mean, in the car when you get in, it's showing towards 100, so it's been quite hot here.
Right on, right on. And I want to share my T-shirt. I got to share.
Yeah, tell us about that. I know.
I got to wear this red T-shirt. Our friends in Macedonia. Now, I do have to make the disclaimer: we are not open in Macedonia yet. But when I was in Salzburg, Austria, we had a bunch of folks who were just excited. They had gotten part of the or some product, and they had tried it. They just love it. And so they're hoping that the market opens soon. But they gave me this T-shirt, and I said, yeah, I'd wear it on one of our upcoming hangouts. I just want to thank them, and I'll be rooting for Macedonia to open here in the near future. It's been quite an education on that whole part of the world. It was all once before, you had Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Macedonia, I think Montenegro. They were all part of what we refer to as Yugoslavia. And so they all kind of broke up, and we've got a few already we could ship product to, and hopefully in the near future we'll be able to get Macedonia online too.
We'll sit there and cross our fingers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing. Always exciting to see new countries. Okay, now I want to mention to everybody that the Connection Hangout here, this is not a business presentation, nor is it a product presentation. It's just designed to connect to various industry professionals, some of ASEA's corporate executives, celebrities, athletes that are using the product, and so that you can get a feel that these are real people that are getting real results with this amazing product, company, and technology and business of ASEA. Afterwards, if you do have questions, be sure to get back to the person who maybe have shared this hangout with you if you have more detailed questions on ASEA that you'd like answered, and they'll be able to do that. Some of you may see a button underneath the screen that says more info, so after we're done, if you have that button, go ahead and click on that, and you'll be taken to their page. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into tonight's show here. We've got a very special guest who just happened to be in the country for meetings with ASEA at ASEA Corporate there in Salt Lake City, and so it's not 3 in the morning where he would usually be, and we were able to grab him. Now, he's someone who's been with ASEA longer than I have, and I've been there since October of
Oh, that's saying a lot.
That's pretty. And I wish that meant that he was that much older, but he's not. But basically, he's got so much experience, not just in the network marketing industry on the corporate side, but he's also been in the field as well. He's been indirectly or directly involved with network marketing since his father, who actually slapped a little button on his diaper that said, "Lose weight now, ask me how," right, if I remember correctly. More on that in just a minute. Prior to ASEA, Justin held key corporate positions with one of the largest and fastest growing companies in the history of network marketing. He was instrumental in setting up, managing countries all around the globe, and he's also been, like I mentioned, on the distributor side of things and has built a highly successful network marketing organization. Justin and his beautiful wife Kalani and their children all picked up and moved to Munich for our tremendous cause of ASEA. We're all grateful for that. And he's been living there now for, what is it, Justin, almost a few years?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. 3 years.
3 years, unbelievable, yeah. So he's been living actually in Germany there for 3 years. So really, it's my honor and privilege here to welcome to the Connection Hangout, Justin Wilson.
Paul, appreciate it. I think that's the most applause I've had in a long time. I got
to get you that button, man.
Pleasure. I'm thrilled to be on with you guys. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. Glad you could join us. Now, want to jump right into it and ask you to share your amazing story and history with network marketing before you found ASEA, and how it all started with your legendary father there, the great Gary Wilson.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It is an interesting story. I mean, I'm a little bit of an oddity in the world of network marketing, I would say. I often tell people that I've been in the industry officially for almost 20 years now, working with great companies before ASEA, and certainly ASEA has been the pinnacle for me. But I've been traveling all over the world, working in places like the Philippines, Brazil, Germany, Korea, Japan, all over the world. But I say that I've been in the industry officially for 20 years, really because I was sponsored into network marketing by birth. You know, I didn't have a choice like most people had. As Paul said, my father was a full-time network marketer for pretty much my entire life. Very, very successful with his first company, a company that we would all recognize. Paul mentioned the button there, which was certainly a big part of my life growing up. And then later, a company that he got involved with as the very first distributor, which was a company called Tahitian Noni International, which later became a large company and at their peak was doing over $800 million a year in sales. So I grew up with the industry. I remember my father giving me all kinds of products. As a young boy, I didn't understand it, you know, but I trusted my dad, and I knew he wanted me to be healthy. So I took all of these things, even though I hated it. And then, you know, long story short, I became involved with ASEA, and I'll tell you, it changed. My world changed in a big, big way.
So Justin, what attracted you to ASEA, and tell us what your early days were like there, and what the early days of ASEA were like.
Yeah, I have fond memories, guys, of this, you know, of the beginnings of this company, especially now that we've reached this really important time in our history with the 5-year anniversary of our official opening. You know, Vertus Norton retiring and all these different things. I've been really thinking a lot about those early days. I remember coming into the very small office on the west side of Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's just amazing to me that just for me, a relatively very short period of time, here I am in Germany talking to people from, you know, 20 different countries about this incredible product. For me, you know, those early days when I the moment I met Vertus Norton, for me was an absolute life changer. And I didn't expect it. I didn't know that was what was in store for me when I went down to that office on the first day. This was in December of 2008. You know, I was working with a great company. As I mentioned, I'd been with them for 13 years. I'd traveled all over the world. I was with that company since the very, very beginning of their inception. And I wasn't sure what I was looking for, but I was looking for something different, something where I felt like I could really make an impact. And I almost went down to meet with this little company, ASEA, out of curiosity more than anything. It was through my sister, actually, who had a connection with the first executive that ASEA had hired, Kurt Richards. And she just said one day offhand, you know, you really ought to go down and talk to these guys. And so I did. I went down and I met Kurt, and I spent some time with him, and then I met Vertus Norton. And I'll tell you, I've been in this industry a long time, and I had never met someone like Vertus. Vertus was an extraordinary individual. And, you know, most people, I'm sure most of you have felt this at one time or another, but the minute I shook Vertus's hand, I could tell that there was something very, very different about this man. There was a passion. I don't know if it's in the eyes. I don't know what it was. But there was something special. Then we sit down in his little office, and he tells me about his background in business. And very quickly I realized I'm sitting across the desk from one of the most successful and influential businessmen in the United States. I mean, he's working at retirement with companies that are enormous, companies like Kraft Foods, and you know, these are $37 billion companies. And I kept asking myself, what are you doing here? What are you doing in this little office with this network marketing product? I didn't understand it. He told me, of course, that the product was made from salt and water. And again, I'm thinking, okay, we live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I understand. But it kept going back to Vertus. I kept asking myself, why would someone like this be involved with a company or a product of this nature? And that's really what got me started. Very quickly later I learned out, even with all the products that I've experienced and different things, I had never seen anything like ASEA. And since then, it's certainly been confirmed to me that I made the right decision at that point to leave a company I'd been with for a long time, and be with this great company, ASEA.
Yeah, I think that's really maybe one of the least known but most powerful parts of this opportunity, in the fact that again you have this great man within Virtus who had a desire and a hunger to do something more for this planet. I mean, this is what he wanted. This is how he wanted to be remembered, really, and the ability for us all to be able to communicate with him and be able to, have access and learn from him. I can imagine what just every day being, with him there in the corporate offices was like while you were there in Salt Lake City. I think that in and of itself you can't pay for. You can't go to a college for, because this is real world. How he built things, and he's a creator. He loves to create, and so what a better environment. This isn't work for him. This is a mission for him, and I think what you shared there really reinforces that.
Yeah, it's real, right? I mean, Virtus is a very unique. You don't meet guys like him every day, and certainly not in this industry. It really is something that started something very different that nobody has seen before, and certainly I had never seen before. And then you couple that with the product, and there's just nothing like it.
Absolutely, fantastic. Now, shifting gears here a little bit, a lot of people aren't aware. They just know you as Euro Justin, right? that you run stuff over there, right?
It's the pointy shoes, Paul. It's.
But Justin's also has his hands directly in a lot because of his background and experience on the corporate and field side with compensation plans and things like that. He plays a vital role in a lot of areas of ASEA's business development. One of these areas, like I just mentioned, is compensation plan. And with regards to the new compensation plan enhancements, he was very active and an integral part of these changes. And I'd just like to see if you could just share with everyone what you're most excited about for these changes, like, for example, the executive momentum pool. And since we've just completed the first month of being able to pay out some of these bonuses, what your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, this was an exciting time for me as well. I mean, Paul, you and I have talked about this a lot. I'm kind of a comp plan freak. I love to understand these things, and it's a quest to really find a plan that can reward people for doing the right things, people who are honestly out there working hard every single day to build an organization, to build a legacy for themselves. We want to create something that allows them and rewards them for that, to create that legacy. I'm certainly living proof of what that legacy can be, starting with my dad and what that's done for our family for over 40 years. That's what we want to do with this compensation plan. And so when we went in to really talk about these enhancements and work with our field leaders, the purpose was to create and to make sure that our plan was doing exactly what we had set out to do in the very, very beginning. And I'll tell you, it was an exhaustive process. Paul, you were involved with that along with other members of our council, where we really dug in and looked at everything. We looked at every possibility, what we have learned from our plan up to now, what other companies have done. This is part of what Virtus brought to this company, is when you're strategic in your approach to these things, you've got to really look at every possible facet, every possible resource, and we really did that. We brought in industry experts. We worked with our field leaders, and it was a really, really wonderful process. And out of that, I believe that we have come up with one of the most innovative and exciting compensation plans that's in the market today. The new executive momentum pool is unlike anything I've ever seen. I've seen lots of pools out there that allow leaders to take advantage of global sales and to kind of, whether that person is in my business or not, it benefits us all as the company grows. But at this level, where you can actually participate in the global sales of the company, beginning at the level of bronze, is so unique, and it creates a spirit of teamwork and unity that I believe is really, really powerful. But not only that, we did modeling. We looked at what this could do in our business today. And the very interesting thing is we've been reviewing this now with the first section of the EMP behind us. It's interesting that those things that we're seeing in the EMP are pretty much dead on with what we had predicted and in the beginning with our early numbers. That's very encouraging to me. That means that the process was correct. We were able to really look at this from every angle, and it's doing what it is intended to do. I'm excited. When I saw some of those first checks and some of the people that are earning those checks, I'll tell you, there were some happy people last week. They participate in that pool, and this pool only has more potential for people who want to really take advantage and build their business. The other thing that it does, guys, is really it encourages the right behaviors early in your business, that if you continue those behaviors, starting at bronze, even director and beyond, you will take advantage of all of the compensation plan has to offer down the road. And that's what the EMP starts you on. I'm really excited about what we're seeing.
Super.
Thank you for sharing. I mean, it is very powerful. But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Europe. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about that journey and what's it like for your family to relocate, as well as opening up 20 countries.
I'll tell you, it's been a wonderful experience, especially for the family. Let me start there. A lot of people that have never been to Utah would come to Utah and say, "Hey, there's a pretty big culture shock here." Imagine that you pick up a little family from Utah County in Utah and go across the water to a place like Munich, Germany. It was a big culture shock for us. In fact, my wife talks about the first time she went to the grocery store and came home in tears, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to even find things as simple as sour cream. It was a challenge for us. My kids, they were going to a new school. They go to an international school, which is in English. That was a little bit easier of a transition. But certainly it was a big transition for that first year. But now, I'll tell you, everybody is just so happy, and we've had some wonderful experiences in Europe. We're in an area in Munich where we can drive 4 hours in one direction and be in Italy. We can drive 4 hours in another direction and be in France or the Czech Republic. And that has been a wonderful experience for all of us. On the business side, I'll tell you, this was a little bit new for me, even though I've got lots of experience and I've worked in lots of different countries. When I got to Europe that first day, my office, or the European office, I could say, was about 5 steps outside of my bedroom. That was the European office, and it was, our employee base in Europe was me. So it was easy to show up a little early or a little late, at that time. But now, we've got an office established. We've got wonderful leadership with our managing director of Europe, Franz Gog, and a wonderful team. I'll tell you, I don't know what it is about ASEA, but this company seems to attract the best of the best. Our marketing team is absolutely incredible. They are so talented in what they can do. We've got an operations team. We've got our sales team here in Europe right now. And again, in a relatively short period of time, it's been amazing to see this all come together. And I'm very happy with where the business is going in Europe right now. The right people are in place, and it's been exciting.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're looking forward to, it seems like more and more countries keep coming online, so really excited. Okay, now one very well-known fact about Justin is his love for the Dallas Cowboys. Wait a minute. No. Okay, I'm sorry, man. That was a real time.
Hey, I'm about to hang up, Paul. That's not funny.
That's not funny, man. Okay, Green Bay Packers, and since their most famous coach was the great Vince Lombardi, and I love the fact that when Justin's on stage, he'll always mention that they named the Super Bowl trophy after him. I just wondered if he could share, I know he's got many, but maybe one of his favorite quotes from a leadership statement perspective from the great Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I am a Packer backer, that's for sure. I'm a little disturbed, some people would say, when it comes to football. I love it. But it's, Vince Lombardi's a great coach, and, he's got certainly hundreds of quotes that he's put out there. But one that really kind of strikes home for me was one of his quotes where he talks about, and frankly, this is a quote, but it's also how he structured and built teams over the years. Here's what he said. He said, "The achievements of an organization are the results of the combined effort of each individual." And I really believe that. And not only do I believe it, but that's why I love network marketing. You know, Vince Lombardi, when he was building these teams in the early days of football, he didn't always have the best players. He didn't have the Kobe Bryants or, in basketball, or, some of the best players out there at that time. But what he did was he built teams. And that kind of feeling has grown throughout the Green Bay Packers for years and years and years. They don't always have the best players to start with, and a lot of them you've never heard of, but they become because of this philosophy. It's the same in network marketing with ASEA. You may not be able to reach the heights and the levels that you want to in your life and achieve your dreams all by yourself. When you join with a great company, with great team members around you, the people that you join this business with, the possibilities are endless. And I truly believe that. That's why I love doing what I do, and I can't see myself doing anything else. There's nothing like it.
That's awesome. So, Justin, in closing, Virtus is recently retired. I'd love to know your thoughts about that, as well as where you see ASEA's future in the post-Virtus era.
Yeah, guys, it's I'll be honest, it's been an emotional time for me. As I thought back to those early days in the beginning, it was really just the founders of this company and Kurt Richards and me and Dr. Samuelson and a few others in a room. So I had a very lucky opportunity to spend time with Virtus. I remember sitting in a car ride with him for a few hours, driving across country to a series of meetings, and it was just him and me. And I had the chance to ask him and talk to him about his background, his history, and I'll tell you, I learned more from that man in the relatively short period of time that I've had with him than I have in my entire career. He is remarkable. That the strategy, the ability to understand clearly a strategy, to drive that strategy forward, is something that he started with in his career, that he has brought to ASEA, and that will continue to drive this company forward. I came from a great company, but I'm not sure that they ever had that level of sophistication and ability to really go after a clear strategy, not only know how to create it, but how to get it done. And that's what Virtus has brought to us. I have learned so much from him. These things for me are priceless, personally, but also I believe for ASEA. He has established a leadership team with Jerem Webb and Charles Funke and the rest of the executives, basically with that purpose, that we are able and willing to drive that same philosophy and discipline forward, and we're all committed to do that. It's been an emotional time, but certainly Virtus, I'm happy for him and his family and this phase of his life, and I'll tell you, we are committed to take forward what he started over 5 years ago in a big way.
Super. And so post transitioning out, again, this amazing team seems like it continues to grow. Like every few months, we get a new corporate executive. Do we have all the right players now? I mean, are we ready? Are you as we're going forward here?
Well, yeah. I mean, as you know, an organization continues to grow and expand, and really the goal is to make sure that we're offering the type of opportunity that you all can take advantage of, and that's our purpose. Is to enable and to help you. And as the business grows and the company grows, I think always you'll see some growth in getting the right people in the place. But I'll tell you, the core team that we have right now, for me, is the best in the industry. They're good people. They've got the right things in mind, and they know what they're doing. And I just love working with them every single day.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being with us tonight, Justin. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
And I know when you go home, your kids, they're all lined up. And Kalani is right there.
That's right.
Also, real quick, we got to thank my co-host there, David Asarno, Marietta, Georgia. Thanks, David.
And thank you, Paul, for putting this together every week and managing the tech side.
Absolutely. See, Justin, I told you got to get the button because you can even use it.
I got to get me a button.
All right, thanks everyone once again for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week to the Diamond Connection. We'll have some Diamond leaders on the Hangout to answer questions and give some new lessons. We've got so much great information, updated presentations to go over with you next week. So again, tune in next week at the same website address. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.